Okay. All right. Welcome. Hey, welcome, Jim.
Hi there, Santos. How's it going?
There we go. We're getting started here. We have someone that's visiting with us. We're going to get started here in a little bit, a few seconds, if you will. So don't bust my chops there on the other side. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Feeling strong today, you guys? I hope you are, because our topic is about exercise. I'm going to put every one of you guys in the gym. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But we're going to talk about exercise, how it aids in recovery. Exercise aids in recovery. Okay? I didn't say AIDS like HIV. I said recovery. It helps, support, strengthen. All right, episode number 406. Let me get back. Jim's with us, so get in, grab a pen. I don't know, grab a pen, maybe grab a walnut, if you will. Right? Oops, grab some almonds. Hey, don't bust my chops. Grab a little bit of soda, not too much. Anyways, I got the Get Golden Pen of Justice tonight here with me. We got a couple riddles. Time will go by very quick. Once again, this is episode 406. So get in, buckle up, get in, buckle up, get in, buckle up, get in, however you want to do it. Turn down all distractions, grab a pen, and let's see what we can do here. You're welcome to the greatest show on earth, Your Solution Live. I'm Santos. Jim is with us out of Tucson. Jim, exercise for recovery. That's going to be the topic, and we've got a little bit of chat GPT. Bam, bam, bam. We're going to hit Facebook. Bam, bam. We hit YouTube, LinkedIn too. So welcome. Let me turn down the music. Jim, your thoughts here today before we get started? Time is going to go by very quick, and this is going to be a blessed episode. It's fully charged, fully energized, and the reason why is because I drank too much of this. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, this is Puerto Rican soda here. Is it? I grew up with this stuff. Cola champagne. It's called it cola champagne, but this is not no alcohol in it. It's just like a golden cola with a little bit of a I don't know, kind of a sweet taste. Anyways, it's all good. We're good. We're good on the voice. We're good. Everything. All right. Welcome, folks. Chime in. Come on now. I've got some people. Jim, go ahead. Your thoughts before we get started.
Oh, yes. Exercise can definitely make you feel good. But you got to put the work into it. It takes effort. Kind of like all the things that we talk about, that makes sense. Nothing works unless you go and put the effort into it. And sometimes I think that the problem gambler or the addict, is so injured and so sick with the disease of addiction that they don't want to go and put in the effort. They don't feel like putting in the effort. You think about like an injured animal. What does an injured animal do? They seclude, right? They hide. They keep to themselves and they stay still. And I think that's what people do when they are sick with this mental illness of addiction and gambling. Something's paining them, and they're kind of stuck. And it takes effort. It takes effort and a mind shift, and I think a chemical shift in the brain to go and start doing the important things like exercise to get the ball rolling, and maybe exercise can help. Maybe it can go and trigger you to go out and start thinking in a better way, right? Acting and feeling in a better way. It's possible.
Let me ask you a question. What does it do for you when you exercise, Jim? Before you exercise, before
I exercise,
what's happening to you before? What's going on in your mind before you even try to exercise?
It's a challenge.
We'll get this stop with you, and then we'll go to the proverb.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. I mean, if you're going to do it by yourself, on your own, it's a challenge because it's work. You got to go ahead and actually do something that causes pain, strain. And what I'm talking about is I'm talking about running, sit-ups and push-ups. And if you give yourself some time and space, you could possibly weasel your way out mentally, coming up with all sorts of excuses and reasons and imagining all the pain that you're going to go through and the strain and the stress of doing the exercise. And
Now, is that what you're going through?
that's
You
what
before you.
I mean, like I remember, it's like I'm not the only one. I listened to David Goggins, and he
Mhm.
said that he doesn't like it's tough for him to go out and lace up his shoes. Sometimes he just stares at his shoes for like 10 minutes.
It's like work. It's like a job, right? It's like you're going
definitely
for a short job.
right. Now the
Do a
problem
short
is that
task.
it's like the exercise is nice for the feeling. However, there could be other kinds of demons in your mind. It could be family, it could be work, it could
Gonna
be
get into that.
finances, which going to go ahead and just strain your ability or distract your ability to exercise. And you're so distracted, you don't want to exercise. And I don't want to go and put myself through extra strain. I have too much to deal with. I don't want to go ahead and put myself through this.
We're gonna get into this. We're gonna go deeper. We're gonna dive deep. I was listening to this YouTuber. There's this guy on YouTube. He's got millions of followers, millions. And I look at my channel and I cried the other day. No, I didn't. Anyways, he talks about diving deep. Let's dive deep. He's got an accent. He's Nigerian. I think maybe that's why he's got a lot of views, because he's got a neat accent. Anyways, so we're going to dive deep. And what are we going to dive deep about here? We're going to dive deep about these things and exercise and how exercise can help you. Are you ready on the other side to begin? Hey, I called it at the beginning of the year, I called it New York resolutions. No. They're supposed to be New Year's, not New York resolutions. Anyways, resolutions are just, I think they're figments. You just got to keep working through the year. And then once you get to the end of the year, you just keep working, right? You just keep working, keep doing what you're doing. All right. Let me not get out of hand here. Let me get back. The music's down. Ray says, I'm investing in myself soon, getting a new microphone so I can do voiceovers for my gaming. There you go. Something like gaming videos and other videos I want to make. Yeah, that way, you're finding some kind of an exercise. And exercise, physical exercise, right, is good. But you got to, I talked about this with Jim earlier. I think this one right here is just as important, maybe not more important right here. Hopefully we can get into that. Anyways, exercise even just for 15 to 30 minutes a day. 15 to 30 minutes a day. Pardon me. 15 to 30 minutes a day. I got a book that I wrote. It's called 15-Minute Mornings, Breakfast of Champions. It's a good little read, by the way. It's on Amazon. 15 minutes. So ChatGPT says that just 15 to 30 minutes a day can play a significant role in gambling recovery. And I'm not just talking about gambling recovery. Anger. It could be overeating, or maybe you're too funny, right? Is there such a thing that you can be so hilarious that you're addicted to comedy or something? Maybe you're just a joke. I don't know. I got to be careful there. So addressing both the physical and emotional aspects of addiction. All right. Number one, Jim talked about this earlier. He brought it up a little bit, but boosting mental health and reducing stress. Boosting 15 to 30 minutes of exercise. I'm starting to sound like the Macho Man on WWE. 15 to 30 minutes can play a significant role. All right, let me get into the proverb real quick, and then we'll go further. We'll go further here about exercise and recovery and how it's going to aid you on the other side. Are you ready? Take some notes. I got the golden pen of justice, by the way. How about you, Jim? You got a pen with you? I got the golden pen. Somebody gave me this. Yeah, it's not really gold, but it's kind of gold. Looks like it's pain and go away. Anyways, Race, thank you for hanging out. Mental exercise. And Jim got into some deep subject before I'm reading the Bible. We talked about these challenges of family and etc. All of these things. All of those things are going to be facing us in many different ways. Let us focus on how and what the exercise that we could be doing. Think about you on the other side. I like to work out with a kettle, a little torn up kettlebell. Maybe one of these days I'll show you. It's the paint's peeling off of it or whatever. I got old weights and I just do a little bit. I can't do a lot of squats like I used to. I can't get under the bench press and do 250 pounds. I can't do any of that. Anyhow. So, who else is with us? Race. It's every little bit. I don't care if it's a little bit, a tiny little bit. You like when you leave this program tonight, walk away with a tiny little bit. If you can't walk away, then you're wasting your time, right? Then I shouldn't be in your circle of influence because neither should Jim, because we're not helping. We're not supporting you in any way, right? Why am I going to waste my time? Oh, by the way, the riddle. The young lady fell off a 20-foot ladder and did not get hurt, Jim. She just did not get hurt. How could that happen? I shared this with Jim earlier.
Flat? Maybe it was flat. Maybe it was flat. Maybe the ladder was flat. And she just rolled off 3 inches.
Oh, it was a 20-foot ladder. She fell off a 20-foot ladder and didn't get hurt. All right, we'll bring this up here in a minute. Let me get into Proverb 1. By the way, episode number 406, exercise for recovery with a question mark. That's the topic. 1 Corinthians 2:9 says, but as it is written, eye has not seen nor ear heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for them that love him. You know, I was talking to ChatGPT earlier today, and I was asking ChatGPT about the dangers of gambling because I've been involved in this scenario. And I said, you know what's really dangerous? And ChatGPT has a mind of itself, right? It's not a human, but he can pick up on you. He can pick up, or it can pick up on emotions and things. And I was talking about that gambling, after the knowledge of losses and all of these things, you actually become insane. It's insanity. When you are knowing, or what's even worse is that you're going into a situation, you could be young, you could be old, you could be starting out for the first time, and you might not even be aware that you're entering into an experience that could lead you down a road of total despondency. That's what's even more frightening, that a person could go down that road and not really be fully aware of what's going on. Yeah, there's some losses going on. Yeah, there's some broken relationships going on, but I'm still maintaining. I still have this and I still have that. Yeah, other people might be pointing out your issue and you might be in denial. Anyways, it's a horror story. And ChatGPT was pointing it out. Like, yeah, this is some really, and he's like, well, what do you suppose we could do to help people become more aware of these things? Anyhow, that's my good time with chat. I don't see any questions. Jim?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me give you the answer to the riddle because we should know. The girl that fell off the 20-foot ladder and didn't get hurt. The reason why she didn't get hurt was because she fell off the first step.
Yeah, first step. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a 20-foot ladder, though. Anyhow, you had a thought.
Yeah.
We've got a little video that we're going to clip. A little clip. Again, I'm looking for questions. And then ChatGPT talks about boosting mental health and reducing stress. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, Jim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the problem gambler or any addict is has some mental illness. I think we have to go ahead and admit that we do have some kind of mental illness. And if you have some type of mental illness, rational reasoning goes out the window. We can go and say we should exercise. Exercise is good for us, right? But if you have that mental illness, all the reason in the world is not going to go and help you. You got to get help. You got to go ahead and get some professional help to go and support yourself in getting your mind right. And like in anything, when you say go exercise or go journaling or work on, your mental exercises, that takes effort. And if you're sick in the mind, I think it's very difficult to do that, right? It's very difficult. It's challenging. And maybe that's why I go encourage people to go and get help from someone, because it's difficult to do it alone. Oh, talking about a sick animal just hides, doesn't do anything, right? Stays quiet and secluded. And I think that's what a sick person would do. Maybe they go and seclude themselves in the casino. Maybe they seclude themselves with alcohol or food or whatever kind of addiction. And they just shut the world.
I talk about this a lot, Jim. A bag. It's like we have a bag that has holes in it. And it's a money bag. And we're constantly throwing money in there. And yet there's holes in there. I know that sounds so stupid, right? It just sounds so foolish, so ridiculous. Like, it's like, why do you even say that? Because it's truth. It's true. And I believe this. Now, I might be biased, maybe, because I believe the Bible. Am I an expert in the Bible? I've never said I'm not an expert. I do read the Bible and I understand it a little bit here and there. I feel that we've got humanity, and ChatGPT agrees with this too, that humanity has had a void. Humans, children, us, we have a void. There's an emptiness. There's something missing when we come into this existence, this world, this geological breakthrough. There's a void. There's something missing. So immediately, you ever notice a baby? A baby doesn't come into this world like this, smiling. You ever notice that, baby? Let me swimming out of it. How do they come out? How do they come? A baby comes out of the womb. How does it come out?
Crying.
It comes out with rage. Yeah. And you would think that would be a really, right there, the Bible, this is what the Bible says. The Bible says that as soon as we come out of the womb, we're already infected with poison. It's in the Bible. It's in the S.O.S.M.C. In fact, in many areas, God tells us that. So, when you're armed with some kind of knowledge that really helps you understand why you do what you do and who you really are, it makes a difference. At least to me, it does. And it makes perfect sense. So why do I do certain things sometimes over and over? And I know sometimes we do things over and over. We know, you know better. It's giving you self-gratification, right? Like the addiction. And we talked about exercise. Exercise gives you self-gratification also. Yet before you engage in self-gratification, Jim said that it's a battle. It's a torture, right? It is a torture of the mind to go 30 minutes, to go for a walk, or to pick up the weights. I love to pick up weights, metal. I can't do heavy weights but I love it. I just enjoy it. And I spent a lot of time. I remember when I was in the Navy, I was on a ship and we had this workout area, this gym. And when we would go out to sea out there, I was on a big aircraft carrier, 5,500 men on that ship. And we would go to the gym and we'd be out there, Jim, and the rest of you that are listening here, the ship would move a little bit. Of course, it's an aircraft carrier, so it's a big ship. There's airplanes on there, so it can't tilt too much. But you can definitely feel when the ship's moving, because I'd be working out like on the bench. It'd get real heavy, and then it'd be real light, like the weight should be free, and then it'd get real heavy again. And that was just the movement of the ship. So it's kind of interesting. You'd be working out and stuff, and all of a sudden it'd be real easy to move a weight and it'd get real high. And I just loved it. I loved the adrenaline. I loved the way, it was a good stress reliever up there in that gym. And boy, we would go in there. Marines would be in there. I think the Marines would join us up there too. Yeah, it wasn't a very big gym. They probably had other ones in different areas where maybe we couldn't access. But the enlisted guys, we had our own little gym, a hole in the wall. Anyways, let me read this. Jim, if you want a thought, you can share. I got a video that I want to share here talking about exercise for a minute or two. But so mood boosters. Exercise, especially calisthenics and light weights, triggers these release of endorphins, Jim. There goes those endorphins again. They kind of remind me of dolphins. I like dolphins. You like dolphins? Which are natural mood boosters for people in recovery. Stress, anxiety, and depression can often trigger the urge to gamble. Regular physical activity can help reduce these feelings, providing a natural and healthy way to cope with emotions instead of turning to. And then point number 2 is creating a sense of control and accomplishment. Creating a sense of control and accomplishment. We'll look at that point of interest here for a few. And we got another one, and then we'll be ending the show. So we had a riddle, and we got through that one. And Jim, you've got some thoughts?
Yeah.
Let's see who's here.
Controlling your emotions, controlling your chemicals in your system. I guess what you're saying is that when you exercise, you do release the good feeling chemicals. And I guess you can say that, it's full of distractions. Exercise is a good distraction. You're talking about,
it's not an FT, that's for sure.
You're talking about a sack of money with holes in it, right? Now, I don't think the mentally ill person, the person who's addicted, really has any sense of, the consequences of having a sack of money that has holes in it. It's just like the person who eats, a lot of bad fast food, who's addicted to food. They don't have any kind of sense of consequences. The alcoholic doesn't have any sense of consequences. Drinking all that alcohol, the drug addict, same thing, It's like, I'm sure that they know it's bad, but, they do it anyway. And they don't have the immediate negative consequences of the damage that can happen. But it will come in all the situations. But I think that, if you're mentally ill, if you are sick in the mind, reason doesn't work. Reason doesn't work. So I think that's something that we all have to go ahead and admit. I can go ahead and reason my way out of my addiction. I don't think it works. I think you need to go out and get some help. You need to go out and deal with the chemicals that are flowing through your system. And sometimes the chemicals that are going through your system are preventing the good chemicals from being worked through, like exercise. You got so many bad feelings of anxiety and depression and, hopelessness, or maybe like anticipation and greed, it's overpowering. It's overpowering. So I think that's important to admit. You can't do it alone. You can't use reason. You got to go get help.
Can't use reason. You got to go get help. And that's why we're here. Hopefully we're supporting somebody. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Come on now. I see you guys on the other side. Somebody's walking. You're not my chat. Anyways, what happens to your body when you start exercising regular? We're going to watch a short clip here. We're going to watch this bozo. No, not a bozo. He's just a guy in the video. And there'll be other people in there. A quick video. Stay with me. If you appreciate the channel, appreciate what we're doing here. Again, this is episode number 406, Your Solution Live, Gambling and More. Drives, dives, and gambling vibes, if you will. Subscribe, turn your notifications to all. Send us a message if you got an idea on how we can make this better. I'm open to ideas. You got a topic that we can discuss? Let's bring it to the surface, because we're just always just scratching the surface, if you will, right? That's all we're really doing here, scratching the surface. But enough to get hungry, possibly to maybe dig deeper. Knowledge is power when it's applied. Knowledge alone is not power. Knowledge applied becomes power. That's agreement. All right, creating a sense of control and accomplishment, Jim. One of the most empowering aspects of exercise is that it gives individuals a sense of control over their body and mind. Over their body and mind. One of the worst things is to feel hopeless. I mentioned this earlier and I got lost in it. The thought of somebody going through the experience of becoming an addict and not even being aware that you're getting into a trap. You're going into a trap and you're not aware of it. Say you're a young lady. You got a good job. You got a good relationship. You're a good looking young lady. And somehow you've fallen into a casino. Maybe you're playing cards and you've fallen deeper and deeper. And you've never really been exposed to that. But little by little, you're becoming aware that some things are not right. But yet you're not fully aware. You're not fully understanding. And next you know, somebody comes along and says, hey, you know what? I think you're a gambling addict. What does that mean? Well, you know that $67,000 that you had in your savings account? That's all gone, right? Yeah. What about your boyfriend, Ted? Didn't you break up with him, or didn't he leave you a year ago? Yeah, but I'm still functioning. You still have that same job that you used to work at for 10 years? No, I'm not there anymore. I'm working at the dollar store now, but at least I'm working. Do you see what's become of your life? Man, I didn't see this before. I didn't see it like this. I didn't know it was going to go this route. There's a lot of people that are right there. They're right there on that road, man, and they're going to wake up and they're not going to have anything. Their savings is going to be gone. Think about that, man. It's crazy. It's insanity. It's like you're being hypnotized. It's a hypnotic trance. Anyways, let me get away from that here, unless somebody's got a thought they want to share.
Yeah, Santos, have you ever heard of doom spending? Doom spending? Have you ever heard of that concept called doom spending that kind of came about during the time of high inflation? Doom spending. Now, these people...
I have heard of it, but I'm not sure I understand what it is.
Yeah, doom spending is where people, they can't buy a house. They can't afford all their nice things, so they just go ahead and spend recklessly. Charge up the credit cards, they go on YOLO life, right? So they don't take any kind of financial responsibility because they feel that there's no future. So they go ahead and spend recklessly for the now, right? That's how I think about maybe the problem gambler, or the addict. They only think about now, maybe because they don't really feel that they have much of a future. They've given up on the future. They've given up on themselves. So they go out and say, who cares? Who cares if I have all these holes in this sack of money that I carry around? Who cares? Who cares if I'm screwing up my liver or my health? Who cares, about my health? Who cares? I don't care. I don't have any future. I don't have much to live for.
That's how bad of a programming they've gotten.
Right. So I mean,
That's
it's
not bad. That the fact that somebody else, something else, some things are going to control us to a certain degree. Some things will.
how much is stacked against our thinking, you know? How much is stacked against our thinking, for or against? Sometimes there's so many things stacked up in our minds against us that we just go and say, forget it, I give up. Give up, you know? I'm going to go ahead and give in to my addiction. I'm going to go ahead and give in to, this out of control spiral because there's no hope for me. There's no hope.
That's all. And sadly, that's probably about, I don't know, maybe 90, 96, 90, 97% of the world. Possibly. Maybe I think it might be a little bit lower. But okay. Getting back to the subject of, so here's the bunny bag. We're all void. We're putting money into a bag. It's insanity when we think about it. Now, again, creating a sense of control and accomplishment. One of the empowering aspects of exercise is that it gives individuals a sense of control over their body and mind, which is something that you want to be thinking about because, we talk about the mind, battle of the mind thoughts and all that stuff, but your body has memory. So you're not just having to condition your mind, it's your body too. Your body basically can do things. There's even muscle memory, bone memory, blood memory. So in the same way, gambling can feel like a loss of control. Exercise helps to regain that autonomy. Hear that? Exercise helps to retain that autonomy. I'm not saying that it says it helps in aiding, it helps, right? What does it say? Exercise helps to regain that autonomy. That autonomy is what we lose when we become subject or the hook, what have you. In other words, I have another background that says you are bigger than, you fill in the blanks, right? You are bigger than. There's many of you out there that are, who knows, maybe there's nobody here. There might be one or two. Somebody's watching. Anyways, I just got distracted what I was going to say. Better off probably I didn't say it. I'll leave it there.
Santos, we have to go ahead and realize, we have to go ahead and admit to ourselves that
autonomy.
Habits are hard to break. Habits are hard to break, and habits, are ingrained in us. And we have to realize it does take hard work to get or to change our habits. It does take, and I guess I don't know. I guess it depends, what spectrum, what part of the spectrum is the problem gambler on? Maybe for some people, they can go ahead and put reason and thinking, mind over matter, to go and control their situation if they're fed up. However, I think there's some people who have difficulty controlling themselves, and
they don't have autonomy. That autonomy that is being mentioned here, the autonomy of mind and body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a big spectrum of people who are problem gamblers, and many reasons why they are doing what they're doing, feeling how they're feeling.
It becomes bigger. In actuality, Jim, we're bigger than all the problems. You're bigger than all your problems when you really come down to it. Because when you look at your life, if you've been around for some time, you know that you've overcome many problems already. Many horrible things. In fact, some things you probably would share with some people, they wouldn't even believe you that you told them that you went through that experience. Mm-hmm. Isn't that true?
I guess it's just how you go ahead and see yourself,
So, yeah. And that's why influence is so important. If we're not careful, you become a robot. We can easily become a robot because that thing can become bigger. It's what I wanted to say earlier. Something becomes bigger than you. No, we're bigger than all of these things. You have to get back to that autonomy where your mind and your body doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean that you won't get illness. Doesn't mean that you won't fall down and trip and get deceived and break your elbow. No, it means that you understand there's a problem. That may be a problem. It's not bigger than me. I may be facing this problem, but eventually I am bigger than that problem. That's the autonomy that we need to get to. Most people aren't there. A lot of people aren't there, right? I mean, I'm struggling to get there myself every single day to be able to realize, wait a minute, Santos, you're bigger than all of these things. Right? You're bigger than this void that you have is really get closer to God. Read the Bible. Pray. Anyways, let me get this video going and see what but before we do, let me get into can you name 3 consecutive days without naming any of the 7 days of the week? Wow. Name 3 consecutive days without naming any of the 7 days of the week. All right. I'm not going to give you guys a chance. I'm going to read it and then get into the video. Here it is. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. All right.
If you're thinking about leading a more active lifestyle, you're not alone. In recent years, an increasing number of Americans have started participating in more sports, fitness, and recreation. Whether you're trying to get fit, build muscle, or you're just tired of the couch, here are some changes you can expect along the way. During that first workout, you might feel more alert and energized because ramping up your heart rate means a boost in overall blood flow and oxygen to the brain. But prepare yourself for the day after, when you'll almost certainly get a case of DOMS, short for delayed onset muscle soreness. The soreness will persist for about 72 hours, but the good news is you're less likely to get it again as long as you continue to regularly exercise those same muscles. Over the next few weeks, you'll slowly start to ramp up production of mitochondria via a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. Mitochondria are the parts of your cells that convert carbs, fat, and protein into fuel that your muscles use to do their job, like flex and contract. After 6 to 8 weeks, studies have shown that people can increase their mitochondria by up to 50%. With more mitochondria in your cells, you'll start to feel more fit and your endurance will increase. So running 3 miles will no longer feel as difficult as it did during the first week. Once you're 6 months in, all of that hard work should finally start to show. If your workouts focus on strength training, you'll notice your muscles begin to take shape. You're also less likely to fall off the workout wagon at this point. Exercise programs often see a 50% dropout rate within the first 6 months, but after that, more people stick with it. Now, if you're more focused on cardio, then by 9 months of regular exercise, you should see about a 25% increase in your VO2 max. VO2 max is often used as a measure of fitness and refers to the rate your body can transport oxygen to your muscles for fuel. Basically, higher VO2 max means you can run faster for longer. So a 25% increase means you can run about 20% further in the same amount of time. After 1 year of regular exercise, your bones will be denser, which reduces your risk of osteoporosis. In fact, researchers have found that regular resistance training, when combined with aerobic exercise, can actually reverse the effects of osteoporosis after 12 months. Now, if you maintain your exercise program long term, your body might not be the only thing to benefit. Your bank account may also beef up. One study revealed that older people who exercised 5 days a week for at least 30 minutes saved on average $2,500 a year in medical costs for heart-related health problems alone. You'll also be at a lower risk of developing arthritis, type 2 diabetes, dementia, and certain types of cancer like breast and colon. In all probability, you are going to live longer than you otherwise would. And that longer life, it will likely feel more fulfilling because exercise lowers the risk of anxiety and depression by reducing levels of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Of course, all of these benefits depend on the type and intensity of your workout and how long you exercise for each week. A balanced diet is also paramount to a healthy lifestyle. For the average adult ages 18 to 64, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recommends either a minimum of 2.5 hours per week of moderately intense exercise, like brisk walking or biking, or at least 1 hour and 15 minutes each week that combines moderate and high intensity workouts like running and swimming sprints. On top of that, make sure and take 2 days each week to strengthen your muscles with some weights or resistance training. This will help your overall speed and endurance. As you begin, it's important to pace yourself and not push too hard too fast, or you risk serious injury. You'll discover that the fitter you become, the easier it will be to exert a little more energy the next week, the week after, and so forth. Exercise smart and often, and you'll be running marathons in no time.
There you go, Jim. How's that?
Yeah.
Just a few good tips on what happens to you when you exercise, about your bones and your mitochondria. That's an interesting one. I didn't realize how important mitochondria is. There's a lot of studies about mitochondria. Very interesting ones, anyways. So there it is. We're going to be coming down to the wire here. We've got some, let me see. The other thing that I wanted to share also, many people redirecting. Another thing is the autonomy we talked about, whether it's a few push-ups, squats, or lifting weights. Achieve small goals. Achieve small goals. Achieve small goals can build confidence and serve as a reminder that recovery, like fitness, is about incremental progress, little by little, day by day, an hour by hour, an episode by episode, if you will. Number 3, lastly, redirecting energy and creating healthy habits. Many people who struggle with gambling may also struggle with boredom or the need to fill time. Exercise provides a structured and purposeful way to redirect energy. Rather than spending hours thinking about gambling or searching for the next opportunity to gamble, dedicating time to physical activity can help build a healthier routine, promote focus, and provide a productive self. Yeah, that's what I want, to be more productive. I don't know about you, Jim. I think so. You want to be more productive, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go. In fact, I was just exercising before I came on to the podcast. I usually do. That's kind of a little bit of a ritual that I have. Truth be told, I exercise for about 20 minutes before I get on the podcast. Just gets blood flowing good. It gets me limber, and it gets me in the mood, man. It just, like I said, it gets my dolphins, right? It's wonderful to have dolphins floating around inside you, man. You don't want too much of that, because why wouldn't you want too much of the dolphins? Then again, right? What happens? You're diminishing something that is precious, kind of precious. What happens? You don't appreciate it, maybe. Yeah. You don't appreciate it. You give it a less importance, maybe. Go ahead. We got another little riddle we're going to read. You got some thoughts, Jim? We're going to come down to the end of the program. It's been kind of a low Sunday. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. City by the Bay. God bless. Thank you. Woohoo. Thank you for sharing. It was well said. That applies to every type of addiction. Sex and porn is one of the worst right now. It's like like I said earlier, we all have a void. You have a void. You have some kind of a void inside you. And the only way that you can truly fill it is, I believe, that it has to be God. It has to be the creator. Somehow, some way, he has to connect with you. And even then, you still will fill the void. Because it's not, we live in a world. I mean, this world is like, it's a neat world. There's some really cool things to experience. There are. But man, there's some real darkness out there, man. Real darkness. You understand that? Real raunchy horrifying kind of darkness out there. So, all right. City by the Bay says, glad to see you back. Good. All right. Any questions? No, it looks like any thoughts, Jim? Got any more thoughts? We got another riddle I'm going to read here in a minute. Any more thoughts? So
yeah. Exercise is easy when everything's going your way. Doing the hard things is easy when everything's going your way. I think it's difficult to go and do something like that when things are not going your way.
Exactly.
Figure that out. I think about pain.
Yeah.
Like people in this culture, in this world, want to avoid pain. But maybe we have to go and change our mindset and say that, you know what? We have to accept that there's pain in life. Things are not always happy. Things are not always comfortable. And if we're going to go and accept that, well, then why do I need to endure pain? Well, I guess it has to be for a greater purpose. Do we have a greater purpose to go out and pull ourselves through all these difficulties? I mean, or do we always have to go out and see that there's like something good at the end of our journey? I mean, I'm not quite sure, but we have to find some type of purpose.
Even if it's just, even if it's just 2 minutes starting out.
Mm-hmm.
I told my brother, who's older than me, I said, he's much taller and thinner than me. And I said, he used to be heavier and he's thinned out quite a bit. And I said, Fernando, I said, even if you can do 10 push-ups in one, do 10 push-ups, do 15 push-ups. Can you do something, squats, maybe just your body weight, right? Do 10 of those. And then try to do another 10 or tomorrow. And you know what, man, I did 20 yesterday. The thought of knowing that you did something positive also reinforces the thought of doing it again.
Can you cultivate, feeling good about that? Sometimes people can go out and do something and it doesn't really do anything for them. It's like,
I don't think you can really cultivate. I mean, the thing is, energy moves emotion, I believe, right? When you move in a certain direction, your emotions have to follow you. You may not want to go in that direction. Your emotions might be saying, stay underneath the covers. It feels good right here. But that's not what you're not going to follow your emotions. So what happens to your emotions? Oh man, he's getting the cover off him. He's jumping out of bed. We got to follow him now.
I mean, like if you think about like you living yesterday, and you can go out and look at yourself. Oh, I survived yesterday. That's amazing. But most people say, yeah, so what? Yeah, I lived another day. So what? Yeah. And a lot of people's accomplishments. Yeah, so what? So what? I did that. Yeah, so what? Doesn't really go out and move the needle, I guess, in their emotions. So I'm wondering, is that something that we have to go ahead and kind of stimulate, this positive feeling of accomplishment? Because we accomplish a lot, but we take a lot of things for granted, and so therefore we don't have any kind of positive emotion.
There, you said it right there, Jim. You said it right there. We take too much for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the nail. Bam, right there.
Does that mean that if you take so much for granted, do you need to go and change your emotional makeup to go out and start feeling a different way when you start accomplishing? Because if we take all this stuff for granted and our senses have been numb, I mean, it's almost like changing a habit, right? Changing how we feel about certain things.
Yeah. You have, first of all, you have to want it, right? You have to want it. You can't change. If a person that doesn't want to change, it's impossible. I mean, but we are going through experiences, and okay, why am I going through this experience? What is this thing teaching me? Like, what is it? We have to be. I think one of the major problems, Jim, is that we've become dumbed down. We've become like robots. We're no curious anymore. You know, whatever happened to curiosity, right? What is curiosity? We think we know. We think we know. That's the problem. And we don't know. We don't, I think I know sometimes. I don't know shit sometimes. So I'm constantly asking. I'm curious, right? I'm curious about things that work. I'm curious about things that don't work. So, right, how, like you said, it's a good topic how do you get somebody to change? Well, first of all, you can't change somebody that doesn't want to make change, right? You can't get somebody to do, if somebody doesn't want to do whatever it is, there's no way that you're going to make them unless you can pay. If you got a lot of money and you put a lot of money in front of somebody, you can change somebody's mind very quickly. Probably money, but that's a kind of a rare one. Anyways, did I lose my thought here? What was I going to ask about?
Yeah, one thing I can go ahead and kind of think about is, when you pray before a meal, if you pray before a meal, you close your eyes and you think, thank you so much for this meal, right? And I think that really kind of stimulates the emotion of gratitude. And perhaps when you do, either before or after you exercise, you can go ahead and pray, thank you very much for allowing me to go ahead and have the ability to do this exercise, or thank you very much for helping me get through this exercise. Just have that closed in your eyes and thinking might stimulate the emotional side of you to get that kind of motivation. It's possible, I think, because
and the easier that you make it, right? The easier that you make something, the better off you're going to be to do it, right? We can take big things. You often mention this. I've mentioned this. There's many others. They talk about bite-sized pieces. I've mentioned, right? But you might be thinking, well, you're struggling, and you're here on this video. You're watching this video. Number one, there's a reason why you're here. I don't think we're just here because we decided to come here on a Sunday. We just decided to come here on a Sunday because we got nothing else to do. So we'll just go watch Santos for a little bit. I don't believe that, Jim. I don't believe it. I believe that we're here all together here for a reason. There's a purpose to this mission, to what we're doing here. And we could be taking things for granted and not even be aware of it. That's not a bad thing, right? Now you could be taking things for granted because I don't care about that. I've had this to have an attitude. Or you could be taking things for granted and not even be aware that you're doing it. And then it comes to your knowledge and, okay. Again, what did I say about knowledge? Knowledge is power when it's applied. If we can have a lot of knowledge, but if we don't know how to apply it, it doesn't make any good for us. So one small step, like they say, isn't that what the astronauts supposedly that landed on Mars, one small step for humanity? One little thing that we can take forward from this program, from exercise, right? What if you decide to exercise for 10? What if you decide to exercise 10 push-ups after this program? That's going to do something for you, right? That's not going to make it worse. Now, if you've got a bad arm or something like that, and you got a bandage where you can't exercise, don't go do 10 push-ups, because then you're going to blame me for your arm breaking. Santos told me to go do that. No, I'm going to say you had a broken arm. You did it yourself. Every little bit helps. And that's the important thing. Even if it's difficult, is to look for something, right? We got to be curious. Where's the lining? Where's the positive in this thing? This doesn't look that good right now, right? Like exercise. Now, I don't feel like doing it. It does. Okay, can I be curious about it? If you're not going to be curious, then asking yourself questions won't come into. So encouraging, make exercise a part of your routine, even for short periods. It can serve as a powerful tool for managing cravings. And improving mental health. I'm actually classified major depressed, by the way, by my doctor. Yeah, major depressed. I'm functioning though. can serve as a powerful tool for managing cravings, improving mental health, and developing healthier habits in recovery. So there you have it. Can exercise aid in recovery in gambling? Exercise can aid in recovery in many other areas. So we've come to the conclusion. I don't have any more to say. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. This was episode number 406. 406. Exercise for recovery with a question mark. So with that said, if you've enjoyed, you've had some work, maybe you gotten something out of this, you want to donate $5 or whatever you can give, a love gift, you can do that. You can give to through the information below in the video. You can do that. And again, you can share, you can comment, you can like. And anything that you do as a contribution is a love gift to this mission, to support this mission. No more tax deductibles. All right. With that said, I'm going to be hopefully live again on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I got a little joke or a riddle. Jim's got a thought. You may have a thought. I got a joke and a riddle, and then we're going to end the program and thank Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. I don't know where everybody went. Maybe today's Sunday, football Sunday or something. Jim, last thoughts?
Yeah. And just go ahead and start journaling. Start writing about your life. Take the initiative. Choose, right? Choose to improve yourself. Sometimes it's just a decision that you make that can go ahead and turn things around. So decide right now that you want your life to be better.
Curiosity, right? I wonder what we'll be talking about on Wednesday. I'm curious. Wonder what Monday's going to be like. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to get up on Monday and I'm going to do 5 push-ups. Well, that's all you can do. 5. Hey, 5. That's 5. 1, 2. All right. So what invention, Jim, lets you look right through a wall? What invention?
Oh, a window.
Ah, you got it, man. A window.
A window. How about that?
We got a winner. Jim gets the prize next time. What would be the prize? We'll see. Maybe it'll be a golden pen.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Let me see who's here with me. We've had a few visitors. That was about it. I've had a good time sharing and talking about exercise. I've learned a few things. I got to study this thing called endorphins. I call them dolphins, but endorphins. Anyways, we know they're chemicals that run through the body. But do you really know what it is, right? Anyways. Thank you, Keith. The City by the Bay. Good to see Jim back. Woohoo 87. Good to see you here. Out of time. And Laura and Mark and Raymond. I know Raymond is on a different time zone. They're all driving trucks or at least looking for work. Did I get out of time? There we go. And then there was Race. Who else was with us? That's it, Jim. And those of you that were watching by LinkedIn, whoever that was. All right, folks. With that said, thank you for joining once again. I exercise a little bit, pray, and ask God to guide you and keep you. And that's really the most important thing. Until my next episode. Bam! Jim, 30 seconds, Jim.
Okay, have a great week. See you on Wednesday.
All right, there.
Have a good one. Have a good week.
All right, folks.